God bless America. Hello, everybody. I am the Talk Radio Protege, and this is the Protege program. We're almost to the weekend. This is the last video you have to watch before you get to take it easy for the next 2 days. I'm ready. I hope you're ready. Let's get right into it. First, headline on the Drudge Report, and from the Wall Street Journal points out that unemployment is at a low since the year 2000. And I have the Bureau of Labor Statistics page pulled up that shows the graph. As you can see, back in the year 2000, we got down below 4%, and it looks like we're headed that way. There's no year marker for 2017, but scroll down to this spreadsheet, and you can see there in 2000, we got down to 3.8% unemployment claims in April of 2000. And we haven't been that low since. In the month of October of this year, we hit 4.1%. And the reason they say since 2000 is because the last time we had 4.1% was in August of the year 2000. So if we come down below 4.1%, if we hit 4.0, the last time we had 4.0 was in July of 2000. Last time we had 3.9, December, 3.8, April. And we haven't had... you know what? Let's just see. What's the lowest that unemployment has been since we started tracking in 1948? You know what? I would have to turn on my data to do that, and I don't want to do that really quickly. However, one thing that it's important to talk about, since we talked about unemployment and how it can be a misleading number in the Obama era, it's important to talk about the other number that's important to talk about when you're talking about employment numbers, and that is the labor force participation rate. And as you can see, since the year 2000, it's been on a steady decline. Now, the labor force participation rate, there's a lot of things that factor in to this number. First of all, stay-at-home moms obviously are not participating in the labor force. Children are not participating in the labor force. And as you can see here, this is age 16 years and over. So some college students don't have to participate in the labor force. Some high school students don't have to participate in the labor force. There's more than just... I guess you could say this is not a sample of the population of the United States of America that has to work. This is a sample of everyone in America. You could say that another name for this statistic is the number of Americans that are at work or looking for work because they want to work. This doesn't account for, if it's at 67%, that could mean that a third of the country doesn't have to or want to work. And as you can see, it's starting to trend maybe a little bit back upwards. We don't have a lot of things on the graph. We don't even have 2017, a line for 2017 on the graph, so you kind of really don't know where it is there. You can assume that it's kind of maybe in the middle, but you come down and look at the numbers, and that low point that we hit was right before 2016. So it was in 2015 somewhere we were below, and again, this is just between 62 and 63% is the low point. So we hit 62.6, 62.4. 62.4 is the low point that we hit. And we've kind of turned around since then. We've been hovering around the 63 point mark and haven't really gone anywhere since. So if that's holding steady, the way that I think they count, I don't think that they count unemployment in the participation. I think if you're claiming unemployment benefits, you're not counted in the labor as participating in the labor force. So these are just metrics that we need to keep our eyes on, that we need to talk about, because we do like to talk about other metrics besides the unemployment number, because it can be kind of manipulated in sneaky ways. So these are the reason I brought this up to talk about this is because you're not going to hear this talked about in the mainstream media. They're not talking about the unemployment rate going down in the mainstream media whatsoever. They loved to talk about it when Obama was president. They're not talking about it at all now that we have a Republican president. In other economic news, there was a provision in the tax plan that, through my own fault, my own lack of research, I didn't find out about, and I'm only hearing about it today. The headline from Politico is the GOP's hidden 46% tax bracket. If you're rich enough, some of your income is taxed at a rate unseen since the 80s. And what it is thanks to a quirky proposed surcharge, Americans who earn more than $1 million in taxable income would trigger an extra 6% tax on the next $200,000 they earn. A complicated change that effectively creates a new unannounced tax bracket of 45.6%. Now, the reason that they say on the next $200,000, I think they explain it down here in the story. Where is it? There it is. Okay, here's how it would work. After the first $1 million in taxable income, the government would impose a 6% surcharge on every dollar earned until it made up for the tax benefits that the rich receive from the lowest tax rate on that first $45,000. That surcharge remains until the government has clawed back the full $12,420, which would occur at about the $1.2 million in taxable income. Now, this is the single earners numbers. So for a married household, I would assume that this would be $2 million. Remember, all of the numbers that I showed you in yesterday's video were from the married filing jointly thing. So I'm assuming that this $1 million becomes $2 million in the married filing joint, or no, that doesn't make any sense, because the married filing jointly starts at the $1 million mark, is where the 39.5% bracket is. So I wonder if this is starting at $2 million and going for about $400,000, or if it starts at $2 million and it goes until they make up $24,840. It's hard to say, but for single filers in the United States of America, the $1 million in taxable income is twice the amount that you have to earn in order to hit the 39.5% income bracket. That starts at $500,001. So this would be considered as a soaking the rich policy. And what it is supposed to do is mean that the rich don't get to pay 12% income on their first $45,000. In terms of the married filing jointly, it would be the first $90,000. So this is important. This is not in the conservative tax thought process. For the conservative-minded person, the government doesn't have a right to keep or claw back, a specific amount of money. The rich have earned their money just the same as the poor earned their money. Therefore, why are we doing this 6% surcharge. It doesn't matter that the 6% surcharge is in there, by the way, to the Democrats. They're still going to call this a tax giveaway to the rich. They're going to say that the 6% thing doesn't matter. It doesn't make up for reducing the corporate income tax. It doesn't make up for reducing the marginal tax rates and shifting the tax brackets around for those people that make over $100,000 a year. When Bernie says stuff about the top 1%, that ends up hitting a lot of people that are that we might perceive as upper middle class. So this is important to talk about. It's important to make note of this because it, among other things, points out this is not a wholly conservative tax plan. Should the economy fail while this tax plan is in place, the left and the Democrats are going to point at this and say, look, again, trickle-down economics doesn't work. That, forget that they still can't remember that Reagan was president for 8 years, implemented trickle-down economics, and we had a surplus for an economic surplus for 8 years. We had an economic situation such that Bill Clinton got to do whatever he wanted, and the economy was going to do fine. So that's important to remember as we move forward, as we continue to track these changes in this tax plan. How long have I been going? Because I didn't want to go 20 minutes with this video. I will spend a little bit more time to talk about this also from Politico. Donna Brazil. Oh, this column was wrote by Donna Brazil. Cool. She also wrote a book where she detailed the hackery and the cheating and the scheming that went on within the DNC to secure Hillary Clinton's nomination to the presidency. Now, think back. It is April, May, June of 2016. And people like Rush Limbaugh and Sean Hannity and others conservatives, Bernie Sanders rank-and-file supporters, basically anybody that was not a rank-and-file Hillary supporter, knew that something fishy was going on with the Democrat primary. Bernie Sanders, I think, got less than 10 superdelegates. He definitely got less than 100 superdelegates. Hillary Clinton, the way, for those of you who don't know, the way that the Democrat primary works is not the same as a Republican primary. The Democrat primary is the same as the Republican primary, except there's a whole bunch of people who get an extra vote, and their vote counts for a whole lot more than everybody else's vote in the Democrat primary. Every single Democrat office holder in Congress, both houses, and a handful of other Democrat office holders get to vote in the Democrat primary, and their vote counts for the same weight as every single state delegate to the Democrat National Convention. And Hillary Clinton was getting the vast majority, at least 90% of the superdelegates. I think Democrats have over 1,000 superdelegates, some obscene number. Republicans have a few superdelegates, but it's something like a dozen. It's a very small number compared to the Democrats. And, I overheard somebody talking about the superdelegates in a computer lab. This was going on while I was going to school. And I heard them say, and I heard them pointing to New Hampshire, and they said Bernie won the New Hampshire primary, but Hillary won because she got more delegates because of these superdelegates things. So everybody, even the rank-and-file Bernie supporters, knew that Bernie was getting the shaft and Clinton was getting the coal mine in the Democrat primary. It didn't take a rocket surgeon to figure it out. And Donna Brazile decides that she's going to blow the lid open on this whole cheating thing in the Democrat primary. Now, I assume that she doesn't talk about her role in rigging the election, the primary election for Hillary. Because remember, Donna Brazile sent debate questions to the Clinton campaign before the debates. And now she's going to lecture everybody on how the primary was rigged. That's just what's happening right now. This is so much of a duh story that I almost feel like there's not a whole lot much more to talk about. It will be interesting to see how this affects the Democrats. There have been a few headlines in the Drudge Report that allude to a Democrat civil war. And this is just the next battle that the Democrats are going to have to fight. It's going to be interesting. The midterm elections are coming up. This is going to have an effect on those elections. I have a feeling that the Democrat establishment is going to get their way no matter what. So that's certainly going to have an effect on the general races as the midterm elections progress. That's going to do it for this video. Thank you all so much for watching. Please leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments. Agree, disagree. I'm happy to hear any comments. Have a fantastic weekend. I hope you all enjoy. And until the next video, good night and God bless.